Good morning, Santa's Workshop, and welcome to Star Trek Prodigy Season 1, Episode 19, Supernova Part 1. That's a lot of numbers. Where today, unless you are going to argue that Santa's Workshop is either a geographic point at exactly the North Pole, and therefore probably in GMT or no time zone, or, like a freak, that it's located at the magnetic North Pole, I would say that there is at least some section of Santa's Workshop that is in that very difficult to work with time zone where it is currently 8 a.m.
Probably.
Yep, there we go. Alex was wanting me to do Christmas Eve. They were just watching for that. Yes, welcome. I don't expect anyone to be here.
Oh, there's to be.
At Christmas Eve or Christmas if you're far enough east. Oh, now my dog's leaving. He doesn't want to be in the live stream anymore.
Oh, nope, he's trying to burrow into the blankies.
There we go. He's just sleeping on the floor. Today, exciting news because I can do this. But sure, Christmas. But I added the transitions, and I can do it with the keyboard now. I could actually always do it with the keyboard, because the buttons were still mapped from when I did that Minecraft playing it with a drawing tablet stream. But now it's got these transitions, and that's nice. So, Prodigy, episode 19. How do I formulate general thoughts? Prodigy is hard with general thoughts. I wasn't in love with it, but then I became like, oh no, this is great. I love the themes you're doing, everything. Was not expecting the, I can never remember the name, the construct to, like, be released, let alone so early. That was like kind of big moment. Kind of a lot of fairly little criticisms, or at least, even if not criticisms, like things that took me out of it a bit at the start. But then I think it got a lot better. So let's just scene by scene. Prodigy is good for scene by scene. But also, I want to ask this. Let's see. Where is... Oh, let me put the thing up. Where is it? There's a bit in the intro that I feel like is just me, but this is the worst stream to do it. No one's here. But I want to see if it's only me or not, so maybe leave a comment. Yeah. Okay.
Do you need me to pull up the stream on my laptop?
No. Well, you can look, Alex, I guess. You see this... the Pro Star flies by this big eye.
Yeah.
I don't actually know who it is. I always kind of thought it was Zero, but it's an eye.
Crater.
And then they fly by this planet, which has got like a very iris-like set of rings and like a white... Like, this isn't the eye we just saw, but I've always seen this as it's supposed to be an eye. And then it goes on and it sees Zero, who's like the ball person.
Yeah.
And the whole intro is like flying around things or like the cast.
Around the world, around the
So, like,
world,
is that an eye?
world.
Is that planet an eye? Or is that just a planet that I think looks a bit like an eye?
The planet's an eye.
Okay, there we go. We surveyed
Because the eye looked like it was looking.
100% of people believe it's an eye. Well, no, because you have the eye... give me shorter steps than 10 seconds. You have the eye.
Yeah, it's moving
No.
and watching it.
That's an eye.
Yeah.
But then you have this planet.
Yeah, and it looks like the iris.
Okay. It's not just 100% of people agree that that planet is an eye.
Eye round the world, eye round the
Let's see.
world.
Don't stop singing the worst song in existence. I recently learned dubstep.
It's a hard knock life.
Yeah, that's
for
way
life.
better. At least that's a
It's hard
song.
knock life
They
for
used to
life.
play Around the World on one of the stations
Instead of
where I
kisses,
worked.
They get kicked.
And it's so long.
Instead of treats, they get
Are you
tricked.
positing
It's
this is
hard
a
knock
song that's worse than Around the World? Because you could at
No.
least try. Okay. But I learned recently dubstep made that, and I'm like,
Around
I
the
have
world,
no
around
dubstep.
the
Like, are you
world.
telling me dubstep made the worst song in existence? I don't
Dubstep
particularly-
Isn't a band, Nathan. It's a
What? No, yeah, it is. Isn't it
Isn't
also a band?
No.
Or like a group? Is it named? No, hang on. Hang on. No one's here. It's Christmas Eve. What are you expecting? Dubstep. Okay. Originated in South London. The style emerged as a UK garage offsuit.
The style.
Yeah, but like, is it named after people called dubstep? Like, you don't know. It was like a garage band. Okay, let's move on. Stop. It's awful. It's just, it's horrendous. Okay. Getting at, you could, someone like Super Against New Star Trek could just clip that, like, in quotes, stop it, it's awful, that's horrendous, and then it's like N squared. But then it's like N squared during their Prodigy finale review.
I mean, technically, you did say those things.
I did say those things during a review of Prodigy. Yeah, it did drop me off quickly, unfortunately, with it felt like it didn't justify the Janeway thing at all. In the fact is even that Janeway didn't even try to explain what happened. She just tried to explain the threat. You should make a Sims Janeway.
Well, I don't think I have all the textures for that.
I made the doctors in the Sims ones. It took way longer than I thought. But yeah, she didn't even try and explain, like, what had just happened or why she's no longer insane. So it was kind of like a bit disappointing there, as I talked a lot in my last review. And yeah, well, yeah, but I'm going to say a lot of things, I imagine, that eventually change later on. Because Prodigy, I find it hard to review anything but chronologically. And also, if there's something bad, like in any show, kind of at the start that takes you away, and it's fixed here, that means you spend this whole middle bit with the show ruined, and then you go at the end, oh, I guess that worked. Like, it's a very unsatisfying way to do stories. I'm not saying that's what this is, but just be aware of that. But yeah, I also, as we jump ahead a bit, we later learned that her guard was one of the Brakir, was it? Or is that Rock Talk species? That basically Janeway saved this person while she was in the Delta Quadrant. And so it's kind of weird that, like, why does she wait so long to let her out? I get why it's not like, you're awake, I'll let you out. But, like, the ship is under attack for a good little bit before she's like, you know what, Janeway, I always believed in you.
This is when our dog decides to have the zoomies.
Yeah, always. It's because I'm talking. But yeah, I also, let's talk about that a bit. It's one of those minor things where I don't know if it was ever said where that wormhole was going. It was probably like, we don't know.
You found a ball.
So it could have been just like really unfortunate that it went really close to the Federation and Voyager just didn't take it. I don't know. We can look this up if we want near the end, if we got some time. But I did find it, again, just Prodigy making the universe a bit smaller and like, well, you know, why did they make the 45-year journey so quickly? The wormhole is the answer. Like, I'm gonna give them that we didn't know where the wormhole these Brakir were going. If you don't remember the episode, I mean, it's the one with the Devore, as they said, but, oh, did I ever get a Devore Eaglemoss ship? Oh, I didn't. I might have to track that one down. But where they were hiding loads of people in the transporter buffer, all telepaths. They were like really racist against telepaths. That's probably enough to remember it if you're gonna remember it. But it was a good one, as I remember. Yeah, moving forward. I honestly, I cannot remember what was happening in this scene. Oh, yeah. I like Dal's Pep's talk is like, you know, we've been through worse, but, you know, we're all going to get to Starfleet Academy. Like, that was it shows a lot of growth since Kobayashi Maru. Dal, like, he's confident, he's a captain, he knows how to handle his crew, how to keep them all on task, how to motivate them. I really like that, that character and again, it's kind of like, where's Prodigy gonna go from here? Maybe they won't resolve the construct. Like, that'd be kind of weird if Prodigy Season 2 became, like, basically a war with corrupted Federation ships. But, I mean, Steven Universe is, like, a show fundamentally about war crimes and the, like, horrors of war. So it can be done in a kid's show. It's just, it'd be an unexpected direction. Admiral Jellicoe returning. If you do not recognize him, the guy from Chain of Command, who briefly took over Picard to botch a diplomatic exchange with the Cardassians. We knew he's been coming for a while, actually. I thought he would be here sooner. But yes, here we go, Jellicoe with his shiny forehead in San Francisco. I know, this is something I've never known, actually, but is the Golden Gate Bridge on the wrong side of the window in this shot? Because if I remember, the Starfleet Academy is one end of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I think Starfleet HQ is the other end. God, this is the stream I needed someone in chat. But there's something in my mind that goes, does the Golden Gate Bridge really go on that side? And is my dog eating something off the floor? Comment. You eating something off the floor? Alex. Comet's eating something.
Oh dear.
I'm busy. And I can't get to him.
Where are you at, big boy?
Another thing, here's a little detail. I like that this is Mars. He's under my feet. He's right here. This is Mars. This is quite clearly Mars. So, like, they are in the heart of the Federation. I don't know if I spotted this last time, but yeah, that's Mars. Just, I think a lot of planets in Star Trek on Mars, but I think that's even, is that Olympus Mons? I used to have well, I still do. I don't know where it is, but one of those, like, spinny solar planets of Mars. But and that, to me, very much says Mars. Also noteworthy that if it really is Mars, the protostar sent out a message on all Federation frequencies.
No.
At Mars. I think
Can I help you?
I think you're distracting the stream.
I think the dog got something and you didn't handle it, so I have to.
I tried. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like Mars, where we build all the ships, just got the signal, and like surely a bunch of people on Earth answered that. Like, is the aftermath? Is someone gonna have to go and clean up the president's office or something? Because like it answered a hail, or like Starfleet HQ. I guess they're not ships, but I'd imagine like the solar system has just collapsed. Like Earth Starbase. Why does that sound wrong in my head? It is Earth Starbase. Like, just, I don't know if it has weapons, it probably does, but, like, Havoc is just, the Federation is just shut down, I'd imagine. But I guess thinking about it, yeah, if they sent the whole fleet, like, non-Starfleet ships won't get affected, so I guess if anything, it's just messing up a lot of core Federation infrastructure. That's Mars. That's a very good Mars, but that is Mars, like, unquestionably. Moving forward, around like here, we'll get to the really good stuff. I found it interesting in this sequence. Let's play it a bit. But I'm gonna preface first. In Deep Space Nine, and I'm sorry, I'm about to ruin every battle scene in Deep Space Nine for you. There's like a lot of action and stuff. You know, it's like, you know, it's big fights, like huge armadas crashing together. In the foreground, there's usually, like, the Defiant is fighting one or two ships. Every other ship in the background is stationary and not moving, because that just would have been so hard and expensive to do back in the day. The Protostar is moving around. I want you to pay attention to every other ship in this battle sequence. And notice that my headphones are too loud, for one. Notice that none of them are moving whatsoever, which feels weird, especially for like an animated show. Is it that hard to kind of have them just go forward or like do this curve. They probably spent loads of time building the ships, the models, but it's even less than Deep Space Nine. We're not even like the one ship they were focusing on is moving. And I won't play a lot of the scenes because, you know, copyright stuff, but the whole battle is like this. The entire episode, the protostar is the only thing that moves, which took me out of it a lot. Because, like, I mean, I guess the other ships don't have to move. There's so many of them. But, like, the protostar is going so crazy. Like, these close turns around ships. It's absolutely flying everywhere. But no other ship is moving. They're just like, yeah, this is fine. We'll just get them. One other thing. I actually did realize that until the construct got released, really took me out of the episode and kind of retroactively ruined a lot, because I realized, and I should have realized this last episode, this is a window. Like, the entire protostar bridge is a window. And we've gotten shots very clearly that you can see through that window, and from other ships, you can see into the window. We've seen people on the Dauntless reacting to the Prodigy crew, and the whole premise of this show has been they can't hail Starfleet, they can't let Starfleet board, they have no way of communicating with Starfleet. Like, they even did charades last episode. Why don't you use, like, can I get a shot of this just massive window space? Let me just, as I'm talking.
Around the world.
Stop it. Let me get a shot. There we go. Yeah, fine, whatever. Of this like, you could use that whole space, just, we come in peace, can't answer hails, alien weapon on board, and then you could say, like, flashlights to accept shuttle. Or, like, I don't know, you could, like, hold up signs on the window. It's like, hold up sign in largest window to acknowledge. And you could have some sort of sign communication, surely, like, at least attempt it, you know? It's like, that I fixed your problem, surely. It just... there's so much window space on the protostar. Like, I'm sure something will come up eventually, but it felt weird that this was never considered. Like, if you wanted to, you could write out the whole story, and as soon as you, like, go, Starfleet could zoom in and be like, what the heck is written on this windscreen? I imagine you could fit the entire Prodigy script on the windows written out in a font that could be read from another starship. But, yeah, that took me out of it. There was a lot of taking me out of it in this early episode. And, yeah, here. I liked the little thing that, what Janeway, you know, the good Janeway did in the past is coming back to help her now. Originally, it was kind of weird, where she was like, I do remember the Janeway. I remember the Janeway that lied to the Devore to smuggle refugees. I'm like... Really? Is that what the show is using to have the crew distrust Janeway? Is that she lied? Like, yeah, she can lie, but, like, to protect refugees from execution? And, you know, it obviously wasn't that, but that was my first reaction. Is like, really? There's a lot. Janeway is everyone's favorite one-track mind homicidal maniac. There is a lot you could point to.
With
But,
you just sitting
what?
there in the chair, swiveling occasionally
Yes.
facing her. You putting Comet like that makes you and Comet look like the world's most unintimidating villain stroking his cat.
I am holding the dog, who's like a little pug. He's sitting up
Boston
like a
Terrier pug
person.
mix.
Yeah, he's sitting up like a person. I'm just scratching his belly. It's like if the kid was on Santa's lap. That's what's happening now. He's just chill and quiet, which is how he wanted. But yeah, that was a nice little message. It ties into what we get much later. I mean, the best part of this episode with Gwen's little speech, the translation stuff. But as I said, Prodigy we handle chronologically. Also, I thought, I should have realized because she doesn't have spikes, I thought this was Naomi Wildman. And I think I mentioned even in last episode, it would have been cool if Naomi Wildman was a crew member. So I was kind of disappointed when it wasn't her. I guess Janeway would also recognize Naomi. But yeah, I'm gonna check after this. Just do a quick little memory alpha search to see if I can figure out where that wormhole was ending up. I also feel, honestly, like this armada didn't try very hard to capture the protostar. Like, they just wanted to take the shields down. And I guess it was flying close to ships so they wouldn't shoot each other, but, you know, all the ships were stationary. It should be easy for a computer to calculate. Going forward here, I haven't said as it was happening, that, you know, Dal could tell. Whoop. Oh, dang! I am amazing myself into the perfect thumbnail by hitting the wrong button.
Is he trying to kiss her?
Yes.
I don't think it's working out for him based off her expression.
He was misreading the situation severely. But I even like that, I would have loved it, I was thinking it's happened, like, if Dal tried for a kiss or something, and it's just a complete misunderstanding. Because there were two ways that scene could have gone. Either, Dal, you can't be accepted into Starfleet, or, Dal, I love you. And I liked that it didn't go for the classic, ending, I guess, boy gets girl kind of story. But yeah, I liked this scene. Got a little chuckle out of me. I still don't get why they didn't try talking to Starfleet. Like, it ended up being the Diviner and the Vindicator, not Starfleet. But go there, hands up, try and explain the situation. But even as they're carrying off, like, under the bridge, there's a big weapon. Do not hail the Dauntless. Like, don't hail your ships. Use your little badges to hail the ships. Don't interface with the computer. Don't do anything. Just check. It'll take, like, 2 seconds. You know? You could have even left, like, the bottom bit of the bridge open. All went down there. And then as Starfleet stormed the bridge, you'd be like, hey, guys, look at this thing. It'll kill you all. But, yeah, I get Gwen's motivation. I can understand, like, her fear, her going, wanting to get the phaser. But even at the end, when he's like, when Starfleet's actually boarding, he's like, you guys man the bridge, I'll stop them. It's like, it felt like the worst possible thing you could have done. Ooh, I forgot that the Vindicator, oh, I guess she just took over the transporter room. Actually, never mind. I'm also looking, the Dauntless is not a big ship, if these L-cars are anything to go by. Is that like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decks? Not small. It looks a lot bigger on the outside. And bear in mind, so much of that appears to be the computer core. I think those might be shuttles, like deflector. I'm not sure what that is, but like a lot of these are engine-y parts that you can't actually go. Moving forward, pretty basic fight up until the Gwen stuff. I'm looking for something I want to talk about. I think the next thing is the Diviner's arc, the resolution to the Diviner's arc. As I said before, I like the direction it was going. I like the resolution. I've seen similar things before, of course, like the villain who, you know, went off on some villain quest, like had a child or something, and eventually just like, all I care about is that child. I want to think of an example. Does Darth Vader count? I don't think Darth Vader counts. Oh my god, they're usually so good. Come on. Ducat with Zial for like a bit of his arc, maybe? God, I'm blanking. I'm gonna think of some after the stream and be like, dang it, that's exactly what I was thinking of. But no, it was satisfying. He had a very satisfying arc. Nice to see him, even if not necessarily turn good, just start to question what he was doing, realize, you know, his daughter was more important, actively work against his original mission. Yes, very happy with that stuff. Kind of weird when a species dies, they get raptured, but I mean, sure, you can do that. Yeah, this was the first big moment. This is where it started to turn around, I think, when I keep wanting to say control. Like, come on, two robotic-y evil entities that start with a C. The construct being released, like, and I think having the classic ships really really elevated that. Look at this screenshot. You have a Defiant, the ship so powerful that it'll explode if you fart too hard in the captain's seat. You have the Sovereign class, the Enterprise built for war. And you have the Akira, that's the let's take down the Borg ship. And the Centaur 2 is here for some reason. I don't really understand why the Centaur class is here. I think someone just liked it. But these are like the Akira, the Sovereign, and the Defiant are, off the top of my head, probably the three most beloved and heavily armed ships in the fleet. And there's loads of them. There's loads of Defiants and Sovereigns. At this point in the timeline, judging by the absence of Zhang He's, I would imagine the Sovereign is the most powerful ship that the Federation has. Lower Decks hasn't shown us anything. And yeah, I think it's just Lower Decks before this, and Picard with the Zhang He is well off. Also, is this finally our shot of the big bridge? No. Dang it, I want a window shot. That being said, when they start firing each other, this massive fleet of, as I just said, Sovereigns, Defiants, and Akiras, it feels like they're not really trying. Like, it's all very tame. I kind of, in my head, it's like, okay, the construct is gaining control. It's still kind of working its way into weapon systems. Sure, but it kind of continues for a bit on. And, like, way at the end, kind of just before everyone starts showing up, it is a bit more proper of a fight. But for these, like, post-Dominion War, I guess the Defiant was probably giving it its all with its, like, pew-pew guns. But the Akiras, and especially Sovereigns, like, how many phasers... You know what? I'm gonna be right back. Because I'm gonna go get my Enterprise E. And actually my Akira, too.
Did you just abandon your stream?
No, I said I didn't abandon him. I said I'll be right back. No, I'm back.
Around the world, around the world. Around the world,
I'm back.
Around
Okay.
the world.
And I'm glad I noticed I hit mute briefly. The Akira, the Akira class has one big phaser on the top, where they're supposed to be. It's got two on the bottom.
Cyclops!
Yep, upside down Akira class. Two on the bottom, one big one, and the torpedo launchers on the top that we see in the episode. Honestly, not quite as heavily armed as I remember. The Sovereign class has the big phaser strip right there. It's got a phaser strip there, an identical one there. Let's see. Any more dorsal? Oh, yes. It's got a phaser strip there, a phaser strip there, a phaser strip there, and a phaser strip there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phaser strips on the dorsal side. On the bottom side, it has got 8 is a big one on here. 9 is a big one on here. 10, a big one under here. 11, a matching one. 12, it's got one on its belly. And I believe that is what Eagle Moss has put on their model. And that, by the way, is not counting any of the quantum torpedo launchers. It has 12 phaser strips, and God knows how many quantum torpedo launchers. And the Sovereign class is just, like, firing little one-time bolts. Does anyone remember that relay station absolutely tearing itself apart? Like, with so many weapons, and that's a relay station. I didn't get the sense of menace here. It's like, the Protostar fires faster. The Defiant was slow, but that's because it has lots of pew-pew guns. Like, I feel, from memory, that's about what the Defiant did in Deep Space Nine. And, it's the small ship, it's a little dogfighter, fine. But, like, a Sovereign should be devastating. A sovereign is what we brought to, like, fight the Dominion. Fight the Borg. Like, I wanted more. Like, you could say the fleet won't last as long, which is true, but, like, show the Defiance dodging the fire. Like, the Sovereigns are fighting other Sovereigns. You know, well, I guess the Defiance wouldn't try and dodge. Like, yeah, the problem is maybe the sequence would go on too long, but yeah, or have a line that, hey, it's warming up. Like, it'll take a while before it completely conquers the weapon system. Say, like, it'll take 10 minutes. Like, boom. There we go. However long you need this battle to go on, it'll take a little longer than that to fully establish integrations with the weapon systems. Like, if this Sovereign just turns around, it could, like, destroy Mars in 10 minutes, probably. Like, what did the Romulans do? Yeah, that's just, it's a bit of a nitpick, but it just went on. I should have, I feel like there was something else I was going to say as well, but I didn't get a huge sense of, like, danger. It's like, yeah, it's bad, but it felt like one ship is going to come up and go, pew, pew. Oh, I remember. It's like, Doctor Who has this problem with the Daleks a lot, where one Dalek is an absolutely unstoppable killing machine that could conquer the universe with ease. Like, the biggest problem to a single Dalek conquering the universe is travel time. An armada of Daleks, 1 billion Daleks, can be pushed into a small puddle of, like, water and just explode themselves. Like, it happens with a lot of those sort of invincible enemies, is that one is an unstoppable force of nature. The Borg probably have this as well, where an armada is a pushover, because otherwise you just can't beat it, is in storytelling. You just can't. And I felt that with the Federation fleet here. With no shields especially, like, there are 12 phaser banks on this ship, and I think I saw it use this one, you know, just a little bit on the front, and none of its quantum torpedoes. Which I'm pretty sure, I mean, they've had time to work against it, but I remember those, like, annihilating vessels. I remember when quantum torpedoes were introduced, I'm like, oh my god, it's so much more powerful. God dang. You can see it in these thumbnails, like the perfect shots of little windows and things that I just can't get. This is a nice pose, though. That's like, put that on your desktop. And then Murphier, like, ooh, and, you know, Rock Talks just kind of hasn't noticed yet. And Jenkum's, like, holding in a fart or something. He doesn't want to fart on camera. Jenkum's constipated. Like, that's what that looks like from a distance. I thought it was a really cool moment when the Vindicator basically put on the Hulkbuster, and then it turned out to be a escape pod. Maybe that could be Season 2 setup, like the Vindicator's still out there, some time has passed. You know, they've gone to the academy, they're cadets, but now there's signs of the Vindicator coming back. They've assembled some sort of threat. I can see a Season 2 coming from that. Because, I mean, if you deal with the Vindicator, you have nothing left for Season 2. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. Thank God. OBS has a go live button, which really freaked me out, and I had to check that YouTube actually said end stream. I knew I started this stream. Okay. Going forward. Yeah, I talked already about the, Diviner's death scene. He got Thanos. That's the big thing now. The kids love Thanos. And again, look at Jenkum. He's like, oh, Dal's just, like, not really in it. They're like, oh, Murph's face. Yeah. Even them, like, thumbnail face. Look, never pause a video. Everyone knows this. Alex is trying to hand me the dog back.
It's a baby.
It's a baby? Oh.
Ah!
Oh.
You're stealing my headphones.
There we go. Okay, Comment, is there anything you want to tell the people? That was a yawn. I hope the camera picked up that little squeak. Yeah, now we get to the fun bit, when the Universal Translator stopped working. I had a moment of like, wait, Dal speaks English? I'm like, oh, of course he is. Like, clearly someone near-ish the Federation would have built, grown, designed. I don't know. He's got a lot of Federation species in his DNA. Yeah. And it's... God, I'm completely derailed. Yes, so the big bit... First off, it's nice and impressive to see so many languages, especially some that I don't think we've ever heard before. Tellarite, we've probably heard chunks of Andorian, but you had what? You had the Brakir, you had Klingon. Maybe counting it out, it's not as many languages, but to get the actors to learn it, to get it actually sensible and not just gibberish, to get it to gel with what we've heard before. Yeah, I mean, that takes work. That's impressive. There was a moment, I think the first person Gwen talks to is Rocktalk, and I thought that was just her people's language, and I was like, wow, that was not a voice I expected, like some sort of double throat effect. But yeah, very nice to see. Very, I mean, it made sense for a character. It was a nice bit. Thematically, it worked. We'll get into that. But, technically, I like seeing all those languages. That was nice. I think they're definitely setting up things like Gwen established, like Gwen was the one here who called in, the other fleets. You have Dal's great captaining abilities. Everyone's got the skills. I think they're definitely setting up excuses or reasons, whatever you'd prefer, to get these kids into Starfleet. To have Janeway go up to, like, the Admiralty and be like, these kids are going to go to the Academy, and have it be believable that they're like, yeah, all right. Personally, I think she could do that anyway. She could pick up random kids off the street, be like, these kids are going to the academy, or like, okay, you're Admiral Janeway. Like, sure, that's one hell of a recommendation. But I appreciate the effort they're going through to justify this. It bugs me that it's called standard and not just English. Just call it English. English is sort of the global standard, if you want. It's a standard for so many things. It's sort of the international language. We don't call it Earth. We don't call it human. We don't call it standard. We call it English. It's like, yeah, we just use English as a standard. It really bugs me. I don't know why it bugs me so, because it's not a new language. If it was like maybe mostly English or like a mix, or it's not a new language. It is literally just English, but they're calling it standard because why? I don't know. Like, standard in English means like standard, yeah. To every other language in the universe, it's just a noise. And just like English, like, those two are equally meaningless. It bothers me. I don't know why. No, I know why. I don't know why it bothers me as much as it does. But no, the whole message. I mean, I'm not gonna remember it word for words, but Gwen's speech, to the Klingon, this whole thing about the communication, what the Federation stands for, why we need it. Its value, its symbolism, that Starfleet, and the Federation is more than Starfleet. Starfleet is more than the uniform and the ships. Starfleet isn't anything physical. Starfleet is the ideals. It's the morals. It's why Picard can say Starfleet isn't Starfleet anymore. It's why, it's the utopia. It's the classic Gene Roddenberry ideals. It is a fantastic way of imparting all of that onto children, onto the kids who are being introduced to this for the first time. It outstanding. I'm not going to remember all of them. It is definitely one of the best. This is why Starfleet and the Federation are important speeches. I also cannot fathom them rejecting Dal and the end of this, because that's gonna undo so much of these speeches. Like, this is there's definitely a, like, no, Dal, you're gonna get to go into Starfleet, because how the hell can you give a speech like that and then turn someone away? This is not, all right, all your other Star Treks, Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds, sit down, because I want you to hear this is important. This is not tearing down the Starfleet utopia and the values and trying to show that it doesn't work. This is a show that's very much like, no, this is important, the world needs this, and this is what we stand for.
Where's the baby?
He's by my feet.
Okay.
Where he always is. Yeah, I threw Strange New Worlds in that mix. You might be confused. I read an article recently that was one of those just heart-dropping, I'll get into this more when I review Strange New Worlds. It's a picture, I can't put this on stream, it's on my phone, of Pike in, like, a black, I think it's like the snow jacket, holding up a massive gun in, like, a completely dark bridge with the caption, Anson Mount says Strange New Worlds Season 2 will explore the limits of Star Trek's idealism. Just look at that picture, Alex. Explain to them how, like, dark that picture is. It's like if Batman directed a Star Trek.
It's like a bazooka that's a handgun.
Yeah, that... Oh, no. So you three, listen, sit down. Star Trek Picard Discovery, sit down. No. Start Strange New Worlds, Picard Discovery, sit down and listen. But yeah, I love it. Like, the finale would have to seriously fumble to absolutely nuke this message. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's everything that Star Trek is and should be. This speech to the Klingon just totally enforces that. I was a bit worried at first that it's not very culturally aware, because, like, I don't know, how would Gwen know, that much about Klingon culture? That's like, why would a random Klingon officer accept this? Because it's very much the, like, to these alien species that have historically been very against, like, Starfleet and see as, like, weak, even apocryphal. It's like, what the heck? Like, I could throw out 100 million reasons why what you're saying is wrong. But even then, there's a believability in, like, if Starfleet has ever done anything for you, like they have for us, and that's the big, like, why everyone is showing up is, they all have the different reasons. The Klingon Empire, which, again, who knows exactly what state that is. I think Picard is probably going to build on it, what with Worf and everything, but post-Dominion War this far, who knows, like, how much all these alliances have grown. I really would have loved to see Romulans show up to the rescue for the same reason as the Klingons. Like, how many years are we out from the Dominion War? I'm going to check that, actually. Star Trek timeline. Because I don't think it's many. I think it's enough that you're still, like, maybe just getting past recovery. D+9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 years out from everyone banding together and doing something for each other, as this speech says. It's great because it works on its own, is that this is your very first Star Trek, kid, adult, whatever. If this is your first Star Trek, it works. It establishes all that I just talked about, like, what the Federation is, why it's important, why Star Trek, why Starfleet is important, why it's more than just these ships, these uniforms. And if you know all the Star Treks, if you've seen everything, there's so much context that adds to this. And, like, the history, what the Federation's just got out of, what's been happening in the universe, how these species have all grown, and the alliances, their political leanings, whatever, have changed in the past 200 years. And in fact, knowing how they're going to change in the future in some cases, yes, it's great. Everyone want to play our favorite game. Oh, and it's a little cheap to be like, oh, I'm sorry, Gwen, like, it was worth a try. What I got out of her closing the hail is that she accepted it. She was going to come. I can see why you wouldn't, But it did feel a bit fast, especially for Janeway to be like, well, I guess they're not coming. Want to play everyone's favorite game of Spot That Starship. Let me wait for the aliens to show up, because I don't know how far I am. Yeah, oh, actually, this is a good thing of what I was showing earlier, of how much the ships are firing on each other. Bearing in mind that there was literally one phaser fire in that clip I showed. Brilliant. Brilliant timing. Oh, she's still giving the speech. Hang on, go away. Go away. Here we go. This is where it's gonna start. Bird of Prey. Yes, why'd you go 10 seconds ahead? We've seen the Bird of Prey. I might transition back and forth because this goes on for quite a while. Bird of Prey is showing up. Yada, yada, yada. Where's everyone else? Come on, guys. Everyone's gonna get bored. Also, before we play Let's Spot the Starship, let's address that, everyone is, like, about the same distance from Earth. It is interesting that there are so many birds of prey. I will say that this is Mars. Like, this is the heart of the Federation. So, yes, it is reasonable to expect a large amount of traffic around this area. Absolutely. This is like the best location. Again, it's the opposite of the Enterprise is the only ship in the area despite being parked in Earth space dock next to the Excelsior. But yeah, it's still a bit of a thing that bothers me of like all these ships are exactly the same distance apart to arrive at exactly the same time, and there's not like one random ship showing up early. But now, let's spot the starship. Here we go. I believe they are coming in, because everyone's pointing. Yeah, you've got Surak classes. I always get those confused. It's the Sauron and Sauroman of Star Trek. Old ships, but I like seeing them. I've got a model of these, of course. What is that one? That's like the Zoza style. I think that's the ship that they reuse all the time. It's been the Brakir, it's been the Zoza. It's, off the top of my head, it's probably the most reused non-Federation ship there is. Like, it's just so many things, never the same thing twice. It's this one.
Oh.
It was actually in the episode we just watched. I think I pointed out is the Brakir. It was, like, orange, but I'm pretty sure it's that
Was that
ship.
the freighter the Klingons came off of before they decided to die with their work?
For those at home, I believe it's a matter of honor. It is the first TNG episode with Klingons, other than Worf.
I was gonna say, does Worf mean nothing to you?
I'm pretty sure there aren't Klingons before that one. But yeah, it's a matter of honor. It's late TNG, one of the last ones.
Tell your chat
of
how much
season
you've
1.
been enjoying the cookies I made you.
Yes, Alex made cookies. They've been good. A Ferengi Marauder, which has a name I can never remember. It starts with a D.
Durangi.
It's a weird name.
Durungi.
It's interesting to see a Ferengi vessel. Again, God knows the state of Ferengi society right now. Heck, they could be in the Federation. That'd be a leap. But, I'd like that, actually. I don't know about now. Maybe Picard. Like, that kind of makes sense, actually, Ferengi and the Federation. Because there are, Federation allows capitalism. Like, or at least money. The Bank of Boolius, the largest bank in the galaxy.
That on a pill. The Federation allows capitalism.
Yeah. Admiral What's-His-Face, Admiral Vance up in the 32nd century. I covered this in my Poorly Explained, didn't I? I covered this somewhere, where, like, all Asira wanted was for the Federation to acknowledge capitalism as a valid, like, form of governance or like a valid way of doing things. I'm like, the Bank of Boolius, the largest bank in the Federation, is literally located on a capital planet in the Federation. Boolius. It's in the name. But that'd be nice. Who knows? Maybe they did something for these Ferengi. Maybe they're just nice. Maybe I'm a big racist and I'm missing the point of the speech. That, hey, the Federation's helped out everyone, and it's worthwhile. I'm probably thinking of old Ferengi, too. Like, hey, like, every Ferengi woman probably loves the idea of a place where they can belong and be accepted. So, you know, they're in the society now. They're allowed to captain ships and whatnot. Was that Andorian or Tellarite? God, give me steps that are less than 10 seconds. I love YouTube for having frame-by-frame steps. Just beautiful. Okay, Surrock. I'll get there. There we go, yes. I believe that is a Tellarite ship that just warped in the background, but it's kind of Andorian blue, so it confused me. Jenkum Pog. Let's get back to more starships. Because I know Tellarite ships show up proper in this sequence. Oh, Janeway showed up. Hang on, let me skip ahead. Ah, here we go. More spot that starship. Maybe not. We'll wait. There we go, yes. You've got the Tellarite ships. Oh, I forgot this almost. You've got a classic Gorn ship with the penis ship.
Penis?
Yeah, look at this ship. I've got a model of it.
That is a mosquito penis.
Yep, it might actually be remastered.
Mosquitoes.
I don't know if this is a technically classic, because it
Hey,
might...
you can crew viewers.
There were 3 before. Yeah.
Hi, two congruent viewers.
Hi, two congruent viewers. That's always wrong, by the way. I have been talking with multiple people in chat. Well, that said 0 before, so I've learned to ignore it.
Hi, two congruent viewers.
That Gorn ship might have been just the remastered version, but yeah, it's the classic Pina ship that I wish Strange New Worlds would have used. Old Tellarite ships. I'll say it is weird. Love those designs, those Enterprise designs. Love them all. Thinking. Yeah, I'm sure I love them all. But, it's kind of getting to the point where it's a bit weird that, like, there's Surak classes and these Tellarite ships. I guess these Tellarite ships are also horrifically overused. They're Tellarite ships because they're, hey, there's a random alien of the week, let's use this ship, and the Tellarites were considered that. If it's the Procure is not the most used Star Trek ship, it's the Tellarites. I can't remember everything they've been, but like every background blur, anything. It's been in the Delta Quadrant, it's been in the Gamma Quadrant, it's just everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if one shows up in the 32nd century. Oh, hello. I think, yeah, we saw the USS Sovereign as well. The original Sovereign class, which is a bit more paneled and less windowed than I remember. Yeah, that's not, because I've still got the Enterprise in front of me. That is not, that's usual Aztecing. I also literally just saw the 738, and I was like, hang on, that's like a much higher number than the Enterprise Sovereign class. Why? Because that should have been the first. It's because the Enterprise is always 1701, Nathan. It is higher than the Akira model, though, so hey, you've done chronology right. I don't know. Oh, yeah. So I guess then we get into the setup for next episode, where, you know, Federation ships are just coming and coming. And, yeah, they sent out the SOSs, which, isn't a case of, like, they can just tell people to not answer them, because that'll automatically get, like, answered and stuff. It's like the Prodigy can't hail the Dauntless. That would be enough. This is just everywhere. Like, it's just gonna keep spreading, Like, yes, this is a serious problem. I don't know how they're gonna fix it. I hope it's not time travel. An antivirus? Like, I don't know. Unless there's, like, the Vindicator pulls a God, every time. It's not Control. An anti-construct vial out of their pocket. It's a kid stream. I don't know. where this is going. This is probably the most dire I've ever seen the Federation. Like, forget any of that control stuff. Forget anything Discovery, Picard does. Even Nemesis. Like, this is probably the highest the stakes have ever been. Except that time Kirk was fighting, like, some antimatter universe. But, you know, that was TOS. So, well, I guess all good things. Okay, maybe the steps have been higher. But without introducing, like, God.
It's done that.
Yeah, I've realized that. But without introducing, like, a god-like entity or something weird.
Multiple times.
God-like entity, I'll give you multiple times, yeah. I think this is, like, the highest the stakes have ever been. And I guess what really makes it is I have no idea how you'd get out of this. Like, with all good things, with even Control. I mean, Control wasn't a threat. Control was solved. Like, they just didn't realize it.
Cute.
I guess the problem is a lot of the, like, really high-stakes ones in modern Star Trek are just badly written. So it's like there's an easy way out or something. But, yeah, with, like, all good things, there was an obvious out. I mean, Q said it. Just, like, figure out what's going on. With the Xindi, with, you know, any other thing, there's kind of been like, well, yeah, you know, they just gotta convince the aliens to stop being bad. They've just gotta stop this thing. They've just gotta, I don't know, upload this virus. They gotta figure out what's going on. You can't say that on the Prodigy stream.
What?
You can't say that sort of things on the Prodigy stream.
What sort of things?
You can't swear.
Use the fuck word?
Yeah, Alex. It's illegal. I think. Is it a fine? FAA? I don't know. But, this is like, I don't know. They'd have to, like,
what if I
pull something out of
pronounce
their butt.
it, but with an A and O instead of a U?
No.
What if I pronounce it with an A?
No. Go ahead and pay the $10,000 FAA fines yourself then. But,
What if I say it with the
like, I feel there's
I?
I feel there's two resolutions to Prodigy, assuming...
Another viewer, concurrent.
Stop list. It doesn't... that number lies. I don't even know why I have it up. There are two resolutions to Prodigy, assuming it ends season 1. Stop distracting the stream.
But it's why I'm here.
There are two possible ways, like, resolutions, I feel. Either they pull a magic solution out of their butt.
Legitimate question. System output, does that matter that it has an X on it?
Yeah, it's muted. It's the audio for Prodigy.
Oh, so it's not playing that audio. I thought
Yes.
maybe it wasn't playing your audio.
What,
That's
my
I was concerned.
mic?
Yeah, that's what I was concerned
That's
about.
got the sound bar under it.
You've had the sound bar working and it be muted.
Yeah, look, the bottom one works too, which is great. There are two resolutions to Prodigy, assuming it ends this season. They pull a solution out of their butt, and it's going to be really unsatisfying because they've raised the stakes so high. Or there's going to be some, like, incredibly satisfying thematic and moral messaging about, like, working together and the greatness of the Federation and acceptance. Like, I don't know. But, like, how are you going to do that? You could turn the Vindicator, but, like, I don't think they'd have earned that. I think there's
You're gonna make him gay?
long way. The Vindicator's a woman.
You're gonna make her a lesbian?
Maybe she might already be. I don't know.
You said turn the Vindicator.
Yeah. Just, like, a bit to the left, you know?
A bit to the left.
And there's still Chakotay. Like, it still feels really weird if they're just, like... Yeah, Chakotay's just in the future now. He lives there. Bye. Bye, Chakotay. That'd be the weirdest decision for a recurring character, I think. Like, you have Icheb and Hugh, which people get, like, mad about, but even then, it's like... It's just weird to leave Chakotay just, like, out there on Samoa, whatever the planet... It was not Samoa. What was the planet called? Solemn. That was the name. Solemn. Because it's a sad planet. But yeah. Look. Oh, God. That's a bright frame. There we go. Seriously, what? Oh my god, it's the USS Centaur. I was gonna say, why is it the Centaur class? Maybe it's just really long-lived. But no, that is the USS Centaur. Wait, where is... The Centaur's pre-Enterprise C, according to how I've laid out my starships, which is somewhat arbitrary and chronological. But, God, that's the Centaur. These things were apparently, like, just live forever. And they survived the Dominion War, apparently. They're, like, the only class of starship to survive the Dominion War that wasn't new. Oh, why did I do that? Get back up there. Yeah. Looking forward to someone like the Centaur. That has to be it. They were just a big fan of the Centaur. Looking forward to next year, though. Next year? No, next week. I'm not looking forward to next year. That's got Picard. New Year's Eve stream.
You're not looking forward to next year?
Generally, I am, but like not the next stream in the next year, which is Picard. But it might be good. We'll look. Eventually, I'll cover Picard. We're not here to talk about those streams, but New Year's Eve stream. Yes, again, I should be here at noon because when is your parents' thing starting?
What?
Your parents' thing.
Like, when's the party starting?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to message them.
Is it after, like, 1?
Probably.
There we go. I'll be here at noon to do a finale of Prodigy, and then it's like, what, a 7-week break? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where's... Oh, they're up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 week break. 6 in between with no Star Trek. What a crime. But then again, it is Picard. Anyways, I'm starting to ramble. Hope everybody has... I was going to say, hope everyone has a lovely holiday, but then I saw that explosion on the Centaur, and I realized how kind of puny and, like, photoshopped on it looks when it's just a frame. Does that get bigger? Yes, it does get a bit. Here we go. Look at this. This is the firepower I expect. There are 12 phaser banks on a Sovereign class. Like, it does ramp up. See? Like, now that things are getting real bad, they have to show the stakes are high. But that better keep up. You know, like, there are half a dozen Sovereign classes, like half a dozen Defiance, and half a dozen Akiras here. Like, it should be devastating. But yes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, god dang. Every time I forget about the pop-up, and I time my end stream from when I click the button, and then there's a confirmation pop-up. Yes,